Um, Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Eduardo Del Buey, and welcome to this edition of In the Crosshairs. Today, I have the pleasure of welcoming David Gollob, former CBC, NPR, BBC, Maclean's correspondent in Central America, after which he became National News Desk Editor for the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation Nightly News. Welcome, David.
Hi, Eduardo.
We're going to be discussing political correctness today. It's been around for a couple of decades. Do you think it's something that's going to last, or do you think it's something that we're going to get over and go back to a more moderate way of behaving?
Well, I think the the fact is that after the what was seen to be the excesses of the Renaissance in Italy, there was a preacher who stood up and said, "We've got to burn all these paintings. We got to burn all these excesses," and his name was Savonarola, and he had his 10 minutes of fame, and then the people came to their senses, and they drove him out. They drove him out. They burned him, I think, at the stake.
Hmm.
And I'm not suggesting that Justin Trudeau or anybody else be burned at the stake, but the fact is that these excesses come and go, and how political correctness has triggered two phenomena: woke culture and cancel culture, and they both stink as far as I'm concerned, because they aim to put the lid on people's uh, thoughts, their freedom to express themselves. And I never thought I would like Jordan Peterson, but I've come to admire him tremendously because he speaks up for academic freedom, and he speaks up for Israel against this horrible tide of anti-Semitism disguised as policy. You know, so that's my answer.
Well,
Not sure.
I agree with you on that. Well, getting to anti-Semitism, it leads me to my next question. The government, the federal government, municipal governments of Toronto and Montreal, the municipal government of London, England, the British government have all refused to crack down on Islamist violence and demonstrations in their countries. People, young people on the streets yelling, "Long live Intifada, bring on the jihad, let's have some Sharia here, let's bring Iran over." Uh, this is disgusting to many people who do not share those ideas, but who share traditional Canadian values. Is the government of Justin Trudeau and the governments of Olivia Chow and Valerie Plante and Sadiq Khan, are they behaving out of a belief in what these Islamists are saying? Are they afraid of taking them on for fear of losing votes or for fear of increasing violence?
I'm not sure I could comment on how their internal psyches work, but I can tell you that it seems to be like knee jerk reactions, knee-jerk left-wing reactions, and these are horrible reactions. They're not considered. They're not weighed. They're not right in many cases, and this is the reaction, of Colombian President Petro to Venezuela. It's a knee-jerk reaction. He did not vote to support the 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 uh, the uh, opposition in Venezuela when it came time to for Colombia to speak, and same with Mexico, and same with Brazil. So these are the countries that everyone in Venezuela is looking to uh, calm the storm, and yet they've been reacting like knee-jerk politicians do, afraid to alienate their base. And I think that's the reaction you're seeing in these municipal governments and the provincial and federal governments as well. Knee-jerk reactions.
Has any leader performed well against the woke culture?
Well, I think unfortunately Donald Trump is one that may have performed well against it, and he certainly is somebody that I would not support at all. But he has unfortunately uh, managed to bring together a lot of the criticism, a lot of the voices of criticism, and I think that people will support him because he their way.
Do you think that political correctness will drive people to vote more for the right wing?
Yes, this is exactly what I'm saying, Eduardo. I think this is unfortunate consequence of this. However, in Michigan recently, there was a poll out that said that Kamala Harris had was winning, the voter intentions by 20% over Trump, and this is reassuring. If she is able to march to the center and take control of the center of thought and action and policy, then and not alienate her leftist base, then that'll be a triumph for reason, I think.
You mentioned before academics. How deep is the woke culture among the academic community in countries like Canada and the United States? Do you have any feel for that?
Yes, I mean this goes back years and years, to the time when I was a student in London, and in London, England, of course, and not of course, but London, England, anyway. And the academics then were cowering behind allegations that students could bring to them of sexual harassment and so on. And many times they were framed by their students. Many times they were guilty, but I think it was horrible, horrible, horrible ambience to be working in, and I think that excuse me, I think that yes, it's penetrated very deep into the fabric of academia, and it's unfortunate that this has happened because people are afraid to speak their will, speak their minds, and that's terrible.
That is terrible. I think, part of freedom of speech is basically that freedom of speech. And we've always thought that we had that in Western democracies. And it seems that on a daily basis, this is being whittled away by political correctness, where people have to engage in self-censorship. What can society do to move away from the excesses? Is there anything we can do? Or do we just have to let it run its course?
Well, I think we have to keep their feet to the fire, and we have to keep protesting ourselves. We have to keep manifesting our own speech and not be cowed by their pressure. And this is something that you're doing, Eduardo, and I applaud you for it, for speaking out so forcefully against anti-Semitism and for speaking out so forcefully against woke culture and cancel culture. And I think that this is something that we have to continue doing. And this is why I'm participating in this show, to speak my mind on this subject.
David, I appreciate your being here. Any last words?
Well, you know that I have Parkinson's, right? And
Yes.
it affects my ability to put two and two together sometimes, but I'm making a valiant effort today for the cause.
Well, your 2 and 2 came out to a positive and a brilliant 4, and I want to thank you so much for participating.
Well, thank you, Eduardo. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank David, and I want to thank you for joining us today. If you like what you see and what you hear and what you watch, please invite your friends and colleagues to subscribe. We're here to create a dialogue on global issues, and we hope to incorporate you. Leave your comments if you can, and I will share them with David. Until the next time, ciao for now.
No, thanks.